like if you think if you go into a juice bar and they've got those big industrial commercial juicers. See, I'm milking the plants. That's why I call it a plant milk bag. I don't want to waste it. And the juices will oxidize, right?
In this video, we'll be making clear skin vegetable juice, and we won't even need a juicer. Just our blender and a plant milk bag. Stay tuned.
Greetings, this is Body-Culinary, and I'm going to make some green juice. So I've already made some green juice, like a nice serving size of green juice, which I'm finishing off here. And it's actually really pleasant because I've balanced the taste out. So I picked some collards from the front yard, from my little garden, and some cucumbers and some lime. And then also, you know, around my cycle every now and then I still make it, you know, a pimple or two, which is really rare. Usually it'll also be if my sleep is not on point, if I've been up late working or watching educational videos, or if I've eaten a whole lot of nuts around the same time, nuts or seeds. This time with sunflower seeds around the time of my cycle.
Greetings, this is Body-Culinary, and I'm just getting in from the market, so I wanted to do a check with you and show you some of the great things that I got. Also, just to give you an update, around this time for my cycle and eating a whole lot of nuts and not sleeping, I got a couple of pimples and they're drying out nicely by themselves without touching it. All that I put on my skin is the fruits and vegetables that I'm eating. No products, no lotions, no creams, no nothing. It's not dry, none of that. I used to have a lot of acne and scarring. So we'll check in a minute.
So I'm really in tune to patterns and paying attention to the patterns with my body. So yeah, after all these years, I've learned how to balance out the flavor in my green juice so that it's pleasant and it's not a chore. So in the summer, you can get cucumbers will be less per pound. Preferably unwaxed. I know at my food co-op in the States, I could often find cucumbers like the Kirby cucumbers, which will usually look like this, and they're a little smaller. They're not the gargantuan size with the much thicker skin that are really, really shiny. Those sometimes can have a tendency to be waxed unless they're organic. The Kirby cucumbers, I found, although they're much smaller, are usually unwaxed. So that's something to take note of. So again, cucumbers sometimes can get very pricey. So if you can find the Kirby cucumbers, they're smaller. They kind of look like the pickle cucumbers, and they usually don't have the wax on them. So that's a good point. And then also cucumbers can really balance the flavor and add a lot more water to your green juices. With all the celery juice craze now, usually when something becomes very popular, it can either go up in price. You know, some folks have been saying that when they get to the market, all the organic celery is gone. So usually, as far as the green thumb, things like that will make me want to investigate and have more on my radar in the garden, growing those things if I know I'm going to use them often. So I'm really looking to cultivate more cucumber and celery in my garden. And celery and watermelon can have a tendency to prefer mounds, like little hills of soil when you're growing them. And then, or because they could start out really great, but for some reason they love a mound, to be planted on a mound as opposed to just straight in a pot. And celery seeds, for some reason, even with the organic celery seeds, I found that they're harder to sprout or to germinate. So I've been trying different things to start the sprouting process, like perhaps soaking them before I plant them. So I know definitely things that I use a lot are things that I strive to grow in the garden. I'm going to run out and get some more collards because I just used up the other collards, so I'm going to run out really quick. Get some collards. So the nice thing when you're growing greens in your own garden, right? I could just go out and get some fresh collard greens, right? And you make sure that you wash them really well. You can use a sodium or salt solution, which can be less expensive than some of the more expensive cleaning solutions. You can use cider vinegar. Again, I'm very sensitive to cost, and mothers and families on a budget. You can also sometimes use the less expensive cider vinegar and dilute it to wash vegetables, and use your organic cider vinegar more inside of your recipes, right? These are all things to help you keep costs down. So that's using either salt, a salt water solution, or a cider vinegar solution. And make sure that you really look inside the greens. Let me do another wash, because you can always find little critters, especially if you're not putting sprays onto your vegetables in your garden. You're gonna often find some critters over there as well, right? Because they're gonna get their starvation. So trim off any rotten looking pieces of the greens. I don't want to be so like, oh, it's cost effective. I'm going to put rotten vegetables or things that are spoiled pieces. Look, you see that piece right there looks a little wrinkly. I'm going to cut that off. Right, and always at all of your vegetables, you're looking to see if there are any kind of discoloration. Discoloration usually will be a sign of bacteria. So you're going to make sure that you're aware of contamination and cross-contamination, particularly for those folks out there that do eat animal flesh. And even if you consume plant-based, I like to just be very cautious as someone that's worked in the food business and the food industry of cross-contamination, because even if you're eating plant-based, the farmers that grow may have animals on their farm or be harvesting different things. You know, their hands may be in dirt. Not everybody has the same practices, but you're coming from soil, so I'm going to make sure that you're washing everything. I'm not saying wash your vegetables with bactericide, but just be very conscious of just being clean, you know, so you have healthy bacteria inside of the gut. So I'm composting everything. Actually, I wore out my last compost container, so I got a new one. This one was a lot less expensive and it's a lot sturdier. So this is also one of the buckets that I'm using for compost tea. I am the person to recycle gray water, so I don't use a bunch of chemicals when we bathe. So I will fill 2 huge buckets outside with water in the event that it gets really hot or there's a water shortage. I know just to conserve water, and from time to time I'll use that to really douse the things that I have in pots outside. So my little Afro homestead. So I have the pulp here in my other juicer from earlier. It gave me a really wet pulp, so I can reuse this pulp in my other juicer. But I want to see how much I'm going to get out of doing it in a blender. So for those folks that don't have a juicer, I do encourage folks to use what you have. Many of us have appliances and things when you got married, or things when you're on another health kick or inspiration that we don't use, and that's form of currency, right? I call it currency economics. So I'm going to use the blender. The Vitamix is a strong blender. You can find blenders comparable to the Vitamix online if you're really on a budget. But I have found that it's pretty sturdy. If you really do your research, sometimes you can find them refurbished, or you can find them at a discount when there is a sale. But these will last you. They're a workhorse, so they can last you for years. A good quality juicer or a Vitamix. But if you have a Vitamix, you don't necessarily need to get a juicer, right? And you can have less stuff. Less clutter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up the vegetables, right? And so we washed them already. This is not my favorite knife. Which knife do I want to use? Yeah, this is a good knife. Be careful because this sucker is sharp. So you can really cut yourself with a knife that's not sharp. Cut celery, a couple of stalks of celery. So more so than just a celery juice, I like to have vegetable juice, and I find that vegetables, when they're not so sweet, I know a lot of people like to sweeten them up. Years and years ago when I first started juicing, you know, we like the taste of sweets, but we can definitely have a tendency to overdo the sweets. Keeping all the seeds and everything. And do know, I am the person to put the food that I'm eating, the fresh whole living foods that I'm eating on my hair and my skin. Even before, when I used to buy lots of products from the food co-op and organic products, I was spending so much money on produce, it just occurred to me, like, if this is a cucumber scrub or a cucumber wash, why don't I just put the fresh food on my face? And so that's what I started doing. And then I have here these the collards that I just made in the garden. So I know I'm always tempted to wash them again, just to make sure. All right. So I'm going to cut these up a bit because they can have more of a leathery texture. Collard greens can definitely have more of a leathery texture. And so I know when I'm working with kale, and I do have lacinato and curly kale growing out in the garden, that those vegetables, you just learn the patterns, the food talks to you. They have a lot of calcium and B vitamins in them, that chlorophyll and other nutrients, and those leathery, tough greens. So, one moment. So, in making your juice in the blender, you only have this one item to rinse out with hot water, right? The blender. And if you put the watery things like the celery and cut it up in chunks and the cucumber in chunks, it will blend easier. You'll get more of like a liquid at the bottom. So let me just turn it around so you can see a little bit. Oh, and then I don't know if I mentioned, maybe I mentioned, that I did get a pimple and I'm letting it go away on its own. So without picking the face so you don't get scarring, it's not necessary. You can relax. If your food is very fresh, your skin is kicking out and your liver and your organs are kicking out toxins, or when we're putting too much food in the body, and that can be very easy to do even if we're eating raw and living foods. So in any event, I'm going to put the collards in here. And the thing I like about greens and green juices, I find they can really, really balance out your taste buds. So, I am going to recycle this water, because this is just water, maybe some cucumber seeds in there. So I will put this out to go out in the big cans outside. For some folks, that may be too many buckets, but hey. So what I'm going to do is take my plant milk bag, right? Because I've had all kinds of vegetable and produce bags, and after a while, they get worn, particularly when I'm squeezing things, you know, one of the recipes or a dish that I'm making through them. So, and these wash really easily, and these are sturdy. And I did make some, and I put them on the Body-Culinary on the Etsy shop. So when people ask me, oh, where'd you get that from? So I made some. So you can get one if you like. They are on the website. So I'm going to pour that right through. And I'm going to take a spatula. And I'm going to put that right in the bag. I can scoop out everything. Alright, especially if you're paying for organic. And I tell you, preparing your own food, it gives you such an appreciation and a connection, whether you're growing plants or sprouts or microgreens in your house. You get a whole other connection and appreciation. So I just put everything into the plant milk bag, and I'm going to squeeze it through. So there's no water added to that, right? That's just the water from the plant. So you can see, you can make a juicer. If your juicer doesn't have a strong motor, because sometimes people think it's the wattage when you're buying an appliance like a juicer or a blender, but it's not so much the wattage as much as just the motor you want to look for. So when you see blenders or juicers that have a horsepower, that's usually going to be an indicator of how strong it is, right? So it's kind of like if you go into a juice bar and they've got those big industrial commercial juicers. See, I'm milking the plants. That's why I call it plant milk bags. And you can always take the pulp and do something else with it, right? You can mix it in a meat for seasoning, especially if you have celery. Celery is considered an aromatic, similar to onions and carrots. Usually, traditionally in the culinary world, we'll call carrots and celery a mirepoix. But there are different spice combinations from fresh herbs and spices that is added to food. So the nice thing with this is I can squeeze this really dry. Whereas if I'm using cheesecloth, quite often a lot of it can escape. The pulp will start squishing out through the cheesecloth, or with materials that are not so sturdy, there'll be like a little hole in it. So I really, really enjoy the green juice. So look at all this dry pulp. And if you have a juicer where your pulp isn't dry, you can reuse that. So you see how dry that pulp is? So let me show you now from my other juicer. I'm going to show you the difference in the pulp. So this is quick, but look how wet this pulp is, right? This pulp is dry. Right? So again, if you're buying organic and paying per pound, you want to get as much juice out of your pulp as possible. So actually what I can do is I can take this pulp and put it back in the bag. I'm going to put this pulp back in the bag. Right, I'll put it right back in here. And I'm just going to squeeze it. Now you don't have to do this, but I tell you, all of this is the exercise. People think so much of dieting. It's such a disconnect, right? To the food that we're putting into our body that's going to allow our brains to function, allow our livers to cleanse, and allow so many chemical processes to happen in the body. And so preparing your food is really relaxing. So you always have company. You're welcome to put a video on. And if you want some company, because I think more people would eat healthy if they had company. It's more popular if your friends were also doing it. So I put from the other juicer that had all that wet pulp in there, and I put it inside the plant milk bag. And I got so much more juice out of it. So this isn't a super sweet. This isn't a sweet juice. A sugary sweet. Although cucumbers and all fruits and vegetables have sugars in the natural sugars to a lesser degree, so they do have carbs, but they're lower carbohydrate or lower sugar. But look at all that juice I got out of there, so I can mix that with this. And the ideal time to drink your juice would be right after you make it. Right after you make the juice. However, there have been times back in the day where if I was rushing out, I could take a container or something and freeze it or cool it in certain containers and put it in there, and then I can have it like right after I was training a client, like if I was running out the door. But usually I make an effort to hydrate with vegetable juice first thing, or an herbal tea. So this is a good amount of juice. I don't want to waste it. And the juices will oxidize, right? They lose a lot of the nutritive value. So that is green juice in the blender, and I've added celery. So you're welcome to try this with the celery juice. Celery juice has a high water content. Excuse me. I like to smell the food. And the collards can be very strong, but the cucumber will really balance that out. And I find that the juice is definitely really beneficial to your skin. Also, the chlorophyll in the body acts like an internal deodorant. So if you have issues with halitosis, or your breath doesn't smell as fresh, eating lots of green vegetables can really improve your natural scent, right? So this is a great way to hydrate. You can make vegetable juice with a bag and a blender. So if you got some value out of the video, please give the video a thumbs up, a like, and a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Do check out the puppet series, Sister Butterfly and Sister Monkey Learn to Eat Better, on this on the Body-Culinary channel. Hit the notification bell so you can be updated as to whenever I upload a new video. You can get the plant milk bags along with some of my activewear line and some of my just favorite things that I use, like my cool Afro bicycle seat covers. Yay! And they're water repellent. Those will also be on the Body-Culinary Etsy shop. Is there anything else? Oh, don't forget, you can also, if you want to see the other ways that I'm using the living foods that I'm preparing on my hair and skin, you can get a copy of my book, Natural Beauty, No Products, Love Your Own Hair and Skin. So it's cruelty-free, and it's vegan. So whether you're vegan or not, it's cruelty-free, because it's pretty much I'm putting food in my hair and on my face and my skin, because I love for my skin to be able to breathe. So whether you wear makeup or not, it's good to know that you can feel good without having makeup on, and that you don't have to worry about, oh, that food on my face. And then also, this hairstyle is my natural corkscrew, pipe cleaner corkscrews. There is a video on this channel, and I found I have very, very fine, delicate, Afro-textured hair that doesn't like to be handled. So this is great because I can leave my hair like this indefinitely. There's no pulling at the scalp. I'm not doing any twisting. I don't have any products, and this can last quite a long time without any pulling or tugging. And when I take it out, I have really the nicest curls that I've had so far since having these semi-freeform locks. So yeah, create a great day, and I will see you soon.